Hey folks, this is Carl Potter coming to you from my whiteboard in my office, and yeah, I got the hat on and I got the Hawaiian flowery shirt on because we're going to talk about Safe Boating Week checklist this week, and this is a public service announcement from the Safety Institute. I'm all festive, I'm ready to go, and just can't wait. Memorial Day is one of my favorite times because we get out on the lake, we get to go out, have some fun, but it's going to be, we got to make it a safe week. And during that week, the sad part of it is the statistics show a lot of people are going to drown, a lot of people are going to get hurt out there on the lakes, and that's why the U.S. Coast Guard wants to give you a message, which, by the way, I happen to be a member of the U.S. Coast Guard Auxiliary Unit. Now, I'm one of the fly guys. I'm in the airplane. If you get lost out there and don't make it back, well, they may call me if you're in Oklahoma, and we go out looking for you, along with our boat people, as we like to call them, because they're out there patrolling the lake during the weekends, and especially during the Memorial Day weekends and during that week. So look for your Coast Guard Auxiliary group out there and tell them howdy and tell them Carl says hi and thank them for the job they're doing because they are volunteers. Now, with that said, let's go over the checklist that the U.S. Coast Guard put out that helps you to make sure that you get, that you have a lot of fun on Memorial Day and for the rest of the summer, and make it safe for your family, your friends, and everybody else that's around you while you're on the lake. So number one on the checklist right here is life jackets. And here's the thing about life jackets. I got one right here. One of these life jackets, this is a ski jacket that you all are, you can pick them up at your local hardware store or your boating store, Walmart, Costco, somewhere like that. But make sure that it has a U.S. Coast Guard approval on it. And it'll be on there somewhere. It'll say U.S. Coast Guard approved. Make sure it fits. This one's a large, and actually I probably could use a little extra large, but what I wear, and even in the airplane, I have a special one that I wear, and this is mine when I'm out. Look, if I go out looking for you, here's what I'm going to be wearing out there while I'm flying my airplane. And this one, I buckle this one on, and if I have to ditch while I'm out there, then I get out of the airplane and I can pull the handle and this thing will blow up and keep me afloat. So I do that. Now, at the same time, there's some of these yoke type that you can pick up at the local Bass Pro Shop, and they're pretty cool. And they, my son wears one. He's got a bass boat, and he goes out fishing, and he's got his on, and that's cool because you know what? If you fall in the water, they automatically inflate and save your life. So hey, go check those out. They're not that expensive. In fact, if you're floating around out there and trying to stay afloat and you've fallen in the water, you're going to wish you had one. They'll be pretty cheap about that point to you. Now, the next thing is signaling devices, and a lot of people wonder about that. Well, one of the things that's good is just a simple mirror is really good. But if you ever look at a signal mirror, they're a mirror with a little hole in the center so that you can look through that mirror, and it's an aiming point, and you can aim at whatever you're doing, and you can, if you flash somebody in the face with the mirror and they got to go, oh, what is that? They're going to look around, they're going, hey, what's that person doing? Well, they're either going to come over and find out what you want, or maybe they're upset because you flashed them with a mirror. But when they come over and you say, hey, I need some help, my motor's not starting, or I'm out of gas or something like that, and I need a tow. Then the other side is, if you see the U.S. Coast Guard Auxiliary out there, you'll see them, then flash them, and they'll come over and they'll be glad to help you out, and at no charge, by the way, so that's always good. Now, or your local lake patrol that sometimes is working with the highway patrol and things. Those folks are friendly. They're out there to keep you safe. Now, at the same time, signaling devices, others, the flares, you can buy them at your Walmarts and Costco's and things that you just shoot up in the air, and they get attention, and well, when you see those, you know somebody's in distress and needs some help pretty quick. And those are good to carry on your boat. The other one is The third one, Marine Band Radio. Now, this is not the band that plays the Halls of Montezuma and plays for the president. We're not talking about the Marine Band, the U.S. Marine. We're talking about Marine Band. In other words, a sea radio, one that's used on water. When I fly in my plane and I'm doing search and rescue or patrols, we actually have a marine radio on board that we can talk to the boats, and we can talk to our auxiliary folks on the ground, so that if they say we're looking for somebody, then and we find them, we can direct them to them. And we use that marine radio, so if you had distress, you could start calling out on channel 16, and we're probably going to be on 16, and we'll come and help you out. So a marine radio is really good. A lot of people are getting more and more on those. You can pick them up on eBay or Craigslist pretty cheap these days too, by the way. It's just something to think about. And you can get the handheld. I'm talking about the base mounted to your boat, but also you can get the little handhelds, and they're pretty good too. Now, the other thing is, file a float plan. Now, as a pilot, I file flight plans, okay? And you've probably heard that before, but a float plan would be simply telling somebody when you're leaving and when you're expected to be back and where you think you're going to be. If you're going to be fishing or skiing, go ahead, just let people know, let the family know. That way, if they're looking at their watch and going, they're running a little bit late, they can call the authorities, call the U.S. Coast Guard, the U.S. Coast Guard Auxiliary, get a hold of them and say, hey, we need some help. And just about 2 weeks ago, we were actually put on standby here for Kerr Lake, not very far from my base airport, and we were asked to stand by because there was a fisherman that was running behind. And so, we're out there, we're don't want you to need us, but we're standing by. But it's always good to have that float plan so we know where to look for you. Now, the other one is vessel safety checks, and vessel safety checks are also available. If you look here, we got the CGAUX.org, CGAUX.org. You can go there and request a vessel safety check in your area. And here's the deal. They're not going to give you a ticket. They're just looking to help you look at your boat and make sure you got fire extinguishers and a paddle and the right amount of life preservers, and that they're good. And so everything. And here's the deal. It might save you a ticket out there because, if you get pulled over by a lake patrol, they can write you a ticket, but the Coast Guard Auxiliary won't do that. They'll just help you to make sure you've got a safe boat. Then, boating safety course here. These are available online, and it tells you a little bit about navigation, like right red return. In other words, at night, if you're coming and you see a red light on the right side, that means that boat's coming at you. It's just a few things that you'll learn about that and how to navigate, what the day markers look like, things like that you can go look for. Plus, gives you a lot of information about your laws, federal laws, with regards to who needs to wear a life jacket, things like that, which everybody on the boat should have a life jacket. And before I leave, I'll touch base on that about age when it comes to life jackets. But boating safety course. Okay, and then boating under the influence. There's your one right there. Now, hey, you got to know, if you're too inebriated by something like alcohol or other fun recreational drugs, depending on which state you're in. But if you're out there and you're doing that, you probably shouldn't be behind the wheel of even a boat. And you definitely ought to have a life jacket on at that point, because you're probably not going to be able to swim or stay afloat for very long. So these are some things to look at. Now, I was going to touch base about life jackets. Here's something that really frosts me. I don't know about you, but you see people out there with little babies. And, I know everybody says, oh, I'm going to take this little baby out. Oh, I've slathered it down with some SPF 1000 and the baby's not going to burn. I'm not worried about the baby burning. If that boat catches on fire or the boat flips over or anything like that, and Mama's holding on to that boat, believe me, Mama probably doesn't have a life jacket on, and she should have. But at the same time, she's got to hold on to that baby. If she doesn't have a life jacket on, she hasn't got a prayer, and neither does the baby. So here's the thing. When children are so small, hey, stay on the bank with them. Let grandma and grandpa babysit them while you go out joyriding in the boat, mama and daddy. But leave the little kids on, because they can't fit into a life jacket. When a child can fit into a life jacket and will not fall out of it, and you can pick them up. In other words, you put the life jacket on them and you can grab them like that, and you can kind of shake them a little, not shake them too hard, but shake them a little bit, so to see if they'll fall out. Then it fits them, because we want to make sure that when they hit that water, they don't come out of the life jacket. So make sure your kids are safe. Make sure everybody's safe. And you know, Uncle John, he'll say, I don't need that life jacket. Well, Uncle John, we just as soon you at least just slip this thing on and buckle one of those, if you can stretch it over your belly, and snap it on. Because we want you, Uncle John, around for a while. So I really appreciate the time that we spent together here, and I got my hat on, I'm ready to go, and got my fancy shirt on. I'm ready to hit the lake. I hope you are, and I hope it's safe. As a U.S. Coast Guard Auxiliary member, I hope that they don't call me to come looking for you because you've fallen over the boat, forgot your life jacket, and we're looking for your body. That's not going to be fun at all. So, from Carl Potter, safety professional and U.S. Coast Guard Auxiliary member, I would like to invite you to follow the Safe Boating Week checklist and have a great Memorial Day weekend.